In this class, I'm going to explain about ultrasonics. Before discussing about ultrasonics, let us revise the topics related to sound. So we know that sound is a form of energy that makes us hear. It provides the sensation of hearing in the humans and other living beings. And sound is produced whenever any object is in vibration. So that means if there is any object which is in vibration, then only sound is produced from such kind of objects. So if there is no vibration in the object, so sound will not be released from any kind of objects. So we know that this kind of sound waves travel in the medium, so in the form of waves. So mostly the sound waves travel in the form of longitudinal waves. That means the particles vibrate parallel to the direction of the motion of the wave. And longitudinal waves consist of alternative compressions and rarefactions. So compressions means whenever the particles come together, so due to high pressure, that is known as compression. So whenever the particles go apart, so that is known as rarefactions. So based on these number of vibrations and as well as the amplitude of longitudinal waves, so all these sound waves are classified into three kinds. So those are infrasonic sound waves, audible waves, and ultrasonic sound waves. So here the human ear is sensitive to only sound waves which are having the frequency range from 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. So this range is known as audible range. That means only human ear can hear the sound waves which have only the frequency range from 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. So if it is less than that or more than that, the human ear cannot hear that kind of sound waves. So the other sound waves whose frequencies are less than 20 Hz are inaudible to the human ear. So those sound waves are known as infrasonic sound waves. Coming to the ultrasonic sound waves, so these are the sound waves whose frequencies are above, that means greater than the 20 kilohertz range. So these kind of sound waves are generally called ultrasonic waves or supersonic waves. So these have very high frequency and high amplitude. So whenever the human beings continuously listen to this ultrasonic sounds, the eardrum may get damaged. So these have very high power. And the branch of physics that deals with the sound waves, so which have very high frequency, that means beyond the audible range, so is generally known as ultrasonics. So human ear cannot sense the ultrasonic sounds because these have very high frequency and high amplitude. So only certain animals like bats, dolphins can generate these kind of ultrasonic waves for their communication. So for example, bats, so these generally hunt during the night time, so they produce the ultrasonic waves. So whenever they receive the reflected sound, which is nothing but the echo, so then they determine the distance of the target and use that ultrasonic waves for hunting. Similarly, few animals like dolphins, so they generate ultrasonic sounds to communicate with the peers of the other dolphins or else to find the way back to their homes. So coming to the production of ultrasonic waves, so we can generate ultrasonic waves using two methods. So those are nothing but magnetostriction method and another method is piezoelectric method. So by using magnetostriction method, so we can generate the frequency of range from 20 kilohertz to 100 kilohertz. So we are able to generate the sound waves, that means ultrasonic sound waves in the range of 20 kilohertz to 100 kilohertz. Whereas using piezoelectric method, so we can generate the ultrasonic waves which are greater frequency. Okay, so we can generate the frequency range which is greater than the 100 kilohertz. So we can generate any amount of large frequency by using piezoelectric method. So first of all, let us discuss what is magnetostriction method. So in magnetostriction method, so we are going to use the effect known as magnetostriction effect. So that means whenever a magnetic field is applied along the length of the ferromagnetic rod, such as iron, nickel or cobalt, a small elongation occurs in its length. This effect is known as magnetostriction. That means whenever any rod such as iron or nickel is placed inside magnetic field, and whenever this magnetic field is parallel to the length of the rod, so then the rod starts vibrating. So this vibration creates extension or else contraction in the rod. That means the length of the rod is going to be changed by the influence of magnetic field. So this effect is known as magnetostriction effect. So this increasing length depends on the intensity of the magnetic field and nature of the magnetic material we are using, and it doesn't depend on the direction of the magnetic field. So generally, what is the intensity, how strong the magnetic field, and what is the nature of this magnetic material mostly determines the increase in the length. So but it doesn't depend on the direction of the magnetic field. So if the magnetic field intensity is high and the ferromagnetic material has high capacity to allow the magnetic field to it, so then the increase in length will be more. So this is the magnetostriction effect. So here we are going to take one ferromagnetic rod, so which is composed by either iron or nickel. So it is kept inside the magnetic field, so which has two poles, so N and S. So whenever it is placed, so its length is L. So whenever it is placed inside the magnetic field, so the magnetic lines of force travel parallel to the length of the rod. So due to that influence of the magnetic field, so it will be in vibration. So then due to this vibrations, there is a change in the length which is shown like dl. So it may increase in the length or it may decrease in the length. So which is generally given by the difference of the length dl. So by using this magnetostriction effect, so we are going to construct magnetostriction oscillator, so which is going to generate the ultrasonic waves by itself. So we do not need to give any external inputs for this oscillator. Such kind of circuit is known as oscillator. So oscillator can generate output on its own. So no need of any external inputs. So here, this is a circuit diagram we are going to use for generating ultrasonic waves with the magnetostriction method. So this is the oscillator. So this oscillator will help us in creating the alternating magnetic field. So coming to the construction of this oscillator, so it requires one NPN transistor, and at the base we are going to connect one coil, that means inductor LS. Similarly, at the collector we are going to attach one more coil. So generally the ferromagnetic rod is kept between these two inductive coils L and LS, and at the collector we have one variable capacitor for adjusting the frequency of oscillations. And this collector coil L is coupled back to the coil LS, so which is used for giving positive feedback. So these two coils L and LS helpful in increasing the amplitude of the ultrasonic waves that are generated by using magnetostriction oscillator. And here we have provided one battery for providing necessary biasing voltage, and one switch is arranged. So this is general construction of magnetostriction oscillator. So now coming to the working of this magnetostriction oscillator. So whenever this power supply is turned on, so we know that here we have switch. So after closing the switch and turning on the power supply, so here the collector current, so at the collector rises rapidly. So this creates magnetic field. So in the rod that is connected in between the coils L and LS. So whenever alternating magnetic field is connected, due to the supplying of electric voltage. So then the rod which is connected between these two will start vibrating. So due to that vibration, there is change in its length. So generally, the frequency of this oscillations, which is required to create vibrations in the rod, is given by the expression F equal to 1 by 2 pi root LC. So whenever this current flowing through that coil L produces the alternating magnetic field in that, so then the rod vibrates longitudinally. That means along the parallel axis. So now the frequency of oscillations that are produced in the rod is generally given by the expression F equal to n by 2L square root of y by rho. So here n is the positive integer starting from 1, 2, 3 and so on, and L is the length of the rod, and y is the Young's modulus of the rod, and rho is the density of the rod. So whenever resonance occurs, that means whenever these two frequencies, that means the frequency of oscillations and the frequency of rod, okay, so are matched, then the ultrasonic sounds are produced. So whenever the frequency of vibration of the rod matches the frequency of the tank circuit, so tank circuit is nothing but the circuit that is connected at the collector, so which constitutes the inductor L and the capacitor C. So these two determine the frequency of the oscillations of the oscillator. So whenever these two are matched, so then the ultrasonic waves are generated. So we can adjust the capacitor to change the frequency of the oscillation. So until it is equal to the vibrations of the rod. So here the coil L that is connected at the collector circuit, so is helpful for us increasing the amplitude of the ultrasonic waves. Since we have discussed that, so this is connected to the coil LS that is connected to the base of the transistor circuit. So in the positive feedback path, so these help us in increasing the frequency as well as the amplitude of the ultrasonic waves. So we already know that ultrasonic waves have higher amplitudes and higher frequency. So this tank circuit will help us along with the inductor coil present in the base LS will help us in the generation of ultrasonic waves in magnetostriction method. So coming to the advantages and drawbacks of this method. So here the oscillator circuit is very easy to construct. So we require only two components, okay. So inductors and capacitor. So and transistor along with the rod. So if we have these components, we can easily construct the oscillator circuit and of course magnetostriction oscillator. So here the construction cost is also low. So we require very less cost for constructing this magnetostriction oscillator. And this oscillator is able to produce acoustical power with fairly good enough efficiency in the range of 60%. That means the ultrasonic waves that are generated by the magnetostriction oscillators are very good and they have better efficiency in the range of 60%. So the drawbacks are it can produce only frequencies up to 3 megahertz only. That means we are able to generate the frequencies up to 300 kilohertz only. So as we have discussed earlier, so this magnetostriction method is used to produce only the range of frequencies up to 300 kilohertz or 3 megahertz. So we cannot generate more than that. So the frequency of oscillations depend on the temperature. Since we are using here transistor, so for the construction of transistor we require semiconductors. So the conduction of the semiconductor depends upon the temperature. So whenever the temperature is varied, the conduction capacity of semiconductors like silicon is going to be varied. So whenever it is varied, the frequency of oscillation that are produced by the oscillator circuit will also vary with respect to temperature. So this is the major drawback of magnetostriction oscillator. To eliminate these drawbacks, we are going to use another method known as piezoelectric method. So piezoelectric method, in this piezoelectric method, we are going to use piezoelectric effect. So which is nothing but when one pair of opposite phases of piezoelectrical material such as quartz or Rochelle salt undergoes pressure, electric charges are developed on the pair of opposite phases. So this is generally known as piezoelectric effect. And the converse is also true. That means whenever electric field is applied to one pair of the phases, the corresponding changes in the dimensions of the other pair of phases of the crystal are produced. This is known as inverse piezoelectric effect. So in piezoelectric method, we are going to use this inverse piezoelectric effect as the main working principle. So that you can see here. So here we have taken one crystal such as quartz crystal. So quartz crystal is helpful in giving the piezoelectric effect. So quartz crystal, the general construction of quartz crystal is like this. So it consists of hexagonal structure with pyramid attached to it. So at the top and bottom corners, we have an axis which joins the crystal, that is known as Z axis or optic axis. So the corners opposite to another face are joined by the another line which is known as X axis. So the other line which is perpendicular to the X axis is known as Y axis. So like that we have three axes because it consists of three dimensions in it. So we have three axes. We are able to cut the crystal from any axis. So if you are going to cut in the direction of x-axis, that is known as x-cut crystal. So if we cut along the path of y-axis, it is known as y-cut crystal. If we cut the crystal in the z-axis direction, it is known as z-cut crystal. So we are going to cut the crystal like this. So now when it is cut in different axis and we are going to use that as a rod. So if we place that crystal inside the electric field, so which is shown in the figure A, so then due to that applied electric field, the changes in the dimension of the length of the crystal occur. So the crystal may increase in its length, so as shown in the figure B. So here the length of the crystal is going to be varied due to the influence of electric field. That means if the length is increased, then it is known as expansion. So if the length is decreased, then it is known as contraction. So anything may take place. So this is known as inverse piezoelectric effect. So in piezoelectric effect, so when pressure is applied on the faces of the crystal, so then we are going to obtain voltage. But in inverse piezoelectric effect, if we apply the voltage, so the length of the crystal is going to be varied. So this is inverse piezoelectric effect which we are going to use to produce ultrasonic waves. So using this inverse piezoelectric effect, so we are going to generate piezoelectric generator for the production of ultrasonic waves. So coming to the construction of this piezoelectric generator, so we have a transformer here, so with primary and secondary windings. So at the primary we have a quartz crystal, so which is kept inside two plates A and B. So here it acts like a capacitor with dielectric quartz between two plates of capacitor. And now coming to the secondary, so here we have oscillator circuit. So it is base tuned oscillator circuit. So here at the base we have one secondary winding known as L1. Along with we have another variable capacitor C1. So L1 and C1 forms tank circuit which is used to adjust the frequency of the oscillations. And at the collector we have another coil winding that is known as L2. So this is coupled to the base of the transistor circuit. So in the path of feedback. So similarly we have one voltage. That means battery, so which supplies the necessary biasing. Similarly, we are going to use one switch for turning on the power supply. So coming to the working of this piezoelectric generator. So whenever the battery is turned on, so the oscillator produces the high frequency alternating voltages with a frequency, so F equal to 1 by 2 pi root L1 C1. So due to this electric field, so since the oscillator is produced that amount of electric voltage, so this is given to the primary of the transformer, so by the action of transformer. So whatever EMF is produced on the secondary winding, C is going to be coupled to the primary. So by the action of transformer. So here the voltage generated at the collector, so is going to be supplied to the primary winding L3. So due to this voltage, the crystal which is connected between the plates A and B, so undergoes vibrations. So and there is change in the length of this quartz crystal. So it may increase its value or it may decrease its length. So it may happen alternatively. So this kind of vibrations caused by the voltage present in the coil L3 set the crystal in vibrations. So due to that vibrations, so it will vibrate and generate the frequency, so which is equal to F equal to N by 2L square root of Y by rho. So N is the positive integer and L is the length of the crystal and Y is the Young's modulus of the crystal and rho is the density of the crystal. So whenever there is resonance, that means whenever the frequency of oscillations of the oscillator is going to be matched with the frequency of oscillations of the quartz crystal, so then there is a chance of generation of ultrasonic waves. So in order to equate these frequencies, so we need to adjust the capacitor that is connected at the base of the transistor, which is nothing but C1. And similarly, these two coils L1 and L2 are helpful in setting the quartz crystal in vibrations. So coming to the advantages of this method, so ultrasonic waves whose frequencies are very high, that means in the order of 500 megahertz, can also be generated with the help of piezoelectric generator. So the drawback of magnetostriction oscillator is nothing but, so there the range of frequencies we can generate is only 300 megahertz. But with the help of piezoelectric generator, so we are able to generate high frequencies. So the output power is high, so it is not affected by the temperature and humidity. Since the output power is high, we are able to generate the high amount of frequencies with the help of piezoelectric generator. And the temperature of this is not generally affected by the temperature, doesn't affect the working and functioning of the circuit. So it is more efficient than magnetostriction oscillator. So since we know that it is able to generate higher frequencies, it is more efficient than the magnetostrict. So it is more efficient than the magnetostriction oscillator. So coming to the drawbacks, so since the cost of the crystal is very high, that can be a main drawback. So buying of these quartz crystals requires more cost. So that is the main drawback of this piezoelectric oscillator. So and since the shape of the crystal is in 3 dimensions and it is in hexagonal shape, so cutting and shaping of the crystal is very, very difficult. So these are the 2 drawbacks of the piezoelectric oscillator.